Hi, everyone. I think there's a few people still joining, so we'll give them a few more minutes. This is Deborah Hibbard-Brito with Therap Services. And we also have Cody and Kathy from New Mexico on the line as well. And so we'll just be silent for a few minutes while everyone is still joining in. I know sometimes it takes a little while for computers to get up and going. I don't know about you guys, but during this pandemic, the internet's a little slow at my house because everyone else in the house is working on it all at the same time. But we'll give people a few more minutes to join. It looks like we have a few other people that signed up and aren't on just yet, but are coming in. In the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in that question box there. And I'll keep an eye on them throughout the webinar, and then we can have some time to answer those, I believe, towards the end. Is that correct, Cody?
Yes.
Okay.
And throughout, if it's applicable to the content.
Okay, perfect. And just so everyone knows, everyone joins muted for now. So if you have a question, just put it in the question box there. You can type it in. And again, that's on the side. It'll be like the GoToWebinar panel. You might see a little flower, and that's where you'll find it. Looking good so far, guys. Looking good. Quite a few people on so far. All right. All right, we do have a couple questions in the beginning here, and I guess I'll out while we're waiting for everyone to continue to join. Is this webinar different than Cody's CARMP training yesterday? Thank you. No, actually, it's Cody's CARMP training. We just have a webinar going. And then let's see, have we been given this PowerPoint just in case we lose signal or something? Cody, are you sending that out?
No, the PowerPoint only contains information on the numbered memo and the tips at the end. I'm still collecting tips if people see something they want to add, and the tip sheet I will send out after all the trainings is done.
Okay, will the nutritionist be able to put their updates through Therap? I'm guessing that your question is about the CARMP. Okay. Okay, and so yes, that is, and yes, we'll go over that, Teresa. Okay. I guess anytime you're ready, Cody. It looks like we've gotten all those questions and we're pretty well. I think we have just about everyone that signed up. for attendees. So anytime you're ready, Cody, the floor is all yours.
Okay, thank you, Deb. Thank you, everyone, to join us for this training. We started this process probably 18 months ago to see how we can assist you. We heard you about sending the CARMP via email and all the difficulties surrounding that. So we start looking at how can we make that easier on you. We looked at different platforms and different ways. And this is the best that we could do and still be HIPAA compliant. So I'm going to show you guys how to do and what to do for the process. But first, I would like to talk about the required elements that went out in the NUMMID memo last week. And then we're going to talk about the elements of the CARMP draft in Therap and some tips. And as I said, for the question that was asked, the tips is still a working document we're adding as we're going forth. And if you guys have tips, please email them to me. I'll add them to that. So the new requirements on the NUMMID memo is from June 1, everyone should have access to Therap and should only use ESCOM for secure emails. With this process that I'm going to show you guys, you do not have to email the CARMP anymore. So that is going to take away all the hardships you guys had sending it through ESCOM and the size of the CARMP sometimes. The next required element is the Rs. When nurses are doing their assessment and their screening for aspiration risk, you should use a new form each time. Some people have been using their old form that's maybe 10 years old, and they just add the new screening date. But there's no way to approve that form. So they've been adding it in the comment section, but the comment section get lost, and they look like they are out of compliance for many years. So to remedy that, each time a screening should be done, we ask you to use a new Rs. Now, the next thing is caseload. In order for you to really participate in what I'm going to show you, your caseload needs to be connected to you. And the way that you have to do that is to contact your regional Therap lead, Kathy Baker or Hernando Martinez. Give them your caseload, and they will connect you with the people that you're taking care of. If your caseload change, you now have 7 days to inform them of those 7 calendar days to inform them of any changes. Either
Cody?
you do, yes.
Cody, this is Kathy Baker. I just like to make a clarification here, if I may. The only people that send Hernando or myself or their regional Therap, their regional office Therap leads, the only people that send us their caseloads are the therapists. Within an agency, we don't set the caseloads up for providers or for caseload or case managers. That's done within the agency. But the therapists and the nutritionists and the BSCs, they send us their caseload to set up because those caseloads are in the oversight account.
Okay.
I've been
Thank you,
receiving
Kathy.
questions on that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. So the other requirements is that the primary provider agency need to update the super roles. And we have a screenshot and how-to information attached to the memo. And again, you can contact the regional Therap lead, Kathy Baker or Hernando, to assist with that if you need more information on that. uploading the current CARMP or the template, if it's an initial template, to the process that I'm going to show you. We went ahead and said it's okay if an administrative assistant do the uploading if you have an administrative assistant in your agency. And if you do not, my recommendations are the case manager coordinate the process. The case manager is going to establish who needs to go first, second, last to do their revisions. And to me, logic describes that the person that's going first will do their recommendations and upload their recommendations and start the process. Or the team can get together, the team can discuss this new process, and then amongst the team members, you decide who should go ahead and upload. Because really, uploading, anybody can start the process. Okay. Communication, communication, communication. If you heard any training or presentation that I give you, because we don't work in the same building, everyone is scattered throughout. Communication is such a big deal. To make sure that everyone is on the same page, you have to communicate with each other. And this process have a few spots, and I'll talk about that as we go through the presentation, that you have to send communications. And now it's required that you only use SCOM for any secure communication. There was a lot of discussions about who should add NA to areas in the CARMP where it's not applicable for the person that is developing the CARMP right now. And the decision was that the case manager is not the person to do the NA. The people that should do the NA is the authors. And it can start with the first person in line. That person can decide this is not applicable to the individual. And when you send that communication out and say, I'm done and I decided this section is not applicable to the individual. If somebody is fifth in line and they think it should be applicable, again, they can take NA away from that section, then add recommendations, add themselves as a lead contact, and then communicate that back to the team via SCOM. That's just making sure that once the case manager get the CARMP and do the checks, that there's not an additional process that you guys have to go through, that the CARMP need to be sent back to you to establish if that section is actually not applicable or it was not completed. The second big discussion that always come up is about the lead contact. There should be only one lead contact per section on the CARMP. There could be many authors. If all the authors want to be recognized, the lead contact must be identified by holding the initials of the person that's going to train that section and that's going to track that section. All the authors can track their section and put the sections in the report, but the lead contact will do it officially. And that's why it's so important that we know for training and for questions and for everything else around that section, that we know who the lead contact is. Otherwise, 5 people will get the same email and it's wasting time, your precious time, which nobody has time to waste, and we know that. But if we don't know who to contact, we're going to contact everyone. So it's very important, not applicable, and only one lead contact. And it's not for the case manager to decide. It's for the people that write the CARMP and make the expert decisions on the individual. The case manager, this bullet will come clearer when we talk about all the steps in the process. The case manager will add the date once everything is said and done. The CARMP was authored by everyone. All the corrections was made. and the case manager presented it to the individual and the guardian and went through the decision consultation process if needed. So the case manager should have already downloaded the CARMP because they need that to show people. And once everything is said and done, they will add the date, upload it back, and push submit. And I will show you as we go through the process why this statement is so important. And this will finalize the process. And as soon as the case manager communicates through SCOM that the CARMP is finalized, the primary provider nurse will download the CARMP and add it to plans. In the 2019 DD waiver standards, we didn't specify where to keep the CARMP in Therap. We're doing it now. And because case managers will be having access to plans pretty soon, we decided to add it in plans. And some of you are already doing it. And the way that people are doing it is do a aspiration risk healthcare plan, write nothing in the body of that plan, just see CARMP and attach the CARMP and the MERP to it. That way everyone will know where to find this CARMP and they don't have to look all over Therap or call you or send you an email, take up some precious time that we all don't have. That is all the required elements that's in the numbered memo, and you all should have a copy of the numbered memo. If not, it is posted on the DD waiver DDSD website right now. Some people have been asking who the primary provider is. The DD waiver standards on page 240 have a hierarchy that show who the primary provider is. Okay. And then the tip sheet we will come back to because it's not going to make any sense right now about that. All right, I have to log in again. All right. So, Deb, was there any questions about any of what I just said?
Yes, just one second. Actually, this is a question for Kathy. When sending the client lists, do you need their name and social security numbers only?
Yes, I need first name, last name, and just the last 4 digits of their social security number. And because you're sending that information, please make sure that you send us the caseload in an SCOM. Don't send it through regular email, please. And if you've got, if you've already got an account, all I need is your caseload if you've got an SCOM account already. If you don't have an account at all in Therap, then you're going to have to send me the information to set up an account in a regular email. And then you can send me your caseload through an SCOM once we get your account set up.
Okay. And then I have another question here for you. I am a PT and I work for Direct Therapy Services. And up until now, Direct Therapy Services has been connecting me to client profiles on Therap. Will this still be acceptable?
Yes, I'm sure it will if that's how you've been getting your caseload up to this point, then yeah, you can continue to do that.
Okay, that's it for now for questions.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to show you guys the process of sharing the CARMP right now. So this is my landing page. Some of you won't see this landing page when you come in. So I'm going to show you what you see by showing you the guide. We send the guide out with every invite and with a numbered memo. I think Deb attached it here somewhere. If you want to download it, you can download it and follow along with me. It has all kinds of screenshots, and it has every step that will answer your questions about this. But I do want to assure you that you are not alone before we continue on. If you have any questions and none of this makes sense to you, you can always reach out and I will help you work through this. I think it's going to be very easy as soon as you guys get started, but to get started might be a daunting process for you. So I don't want you to think that you're alone. All right, so this is the page that I show you initially. This is my landing page. If you don't have something that's say individual on the side, your landing page most likely is going to look like that. If you don't have a caseload connected to you, most likely the only thing that's going to be active for you is your SCOM. Once your caseload is connected to you, you will see more things, and it might not be everything that I have here. But the most important step that you're going to have to do, and the button that you're going to push, is switch provider, because you need to go to the provider to find your individual. Switch provider will take you to this button where you will type in a few letters of the provider name, and it will come up. You will choose which provider you need, and then you will end up on this landing page that I showed you before. So I'm going to leave the guide and go back to the landing page, and we're going to work from here. So on this landing page, you want to go to individual, questionnaire. I have a lot of information here. Don't look at all the information that I have because you might not have it. I think I'm a super user in demo. So that's why I have all this information. But you're going to go to the bottom of your screen and you're going to see the questionnaire form. And currently the only thing that's in there is CARMP. In demo, it still says CARMP 1.1. We changed the name in real life because some people on the pilot programs thought this was where the CARMP is going to live. And unfortunately, this is not where the CARMP is going to live. This is just where you guys are going to draft the CARMP. So we changed the name. If you signing in and look at it right now, it should say CARMP draft for everyone. So to start this process, you're going to click on new. You need to find your individual. This is my caseload. It's 5 pages long. I don't have to scroll through all 5 pages to find the individual. I'm just going to type in the first few letters of the person's first name. Kevin Bacon come up. I choose him. It will bring me to the questionnaire. Now, the first thing is you have to open the questionnaire to actually see the questionnaire. The only question that is required is the first one, because you have to attach the CARMP. Without the CARMP, the questionnaire doesn't mean anything. So I'm going to add file. To attach the CARMP is just the way you would attach any file to anything. Attach the file, find Kevin Bacon, upload it. Now on my tip sheet, this is the first step, which I'm saying it's a tip, but it's kind of sort of important. If you, after you uploaded it, if you would have go ahead and click on any of the questions right now, you would lose that uploaded CARMP. If you click on next or close pop-up, you will lose the CARMP. And then you have to do it, which is not a big deal because you can always go back and upload it again. You might not realize that though, and you would gone through the whole process and then send an SCOM and say, oh, I'm done. You can continue now. And then they go in and ask, where's the CARMP? So it's just another step that you have to do to go back in and upload the CARMP then. So the important thing is save next. Save will just save it. Save next will save it and bring you to the next question. So save. The next question is it a revision on you? Most likely all of yours is going to be revisions. Again, save and save next. So the rest of the question is providing a place where every author on the CARMP can add their name so that everyone can see who did their recommendations and who completed the CARMP. So if I'm the nurse and I came in and uploaded the CARMP and I completed my recommendations, I'll go to the nurse and put my name down and save next. Now, some people on yesterday's call asked if they could add the date, and you can absolutely add the date. This process is yours to make it as convenient as possible for you. So if you want to see when the nurse was done with their recommendations and you want to see the exact date they uploaded the CARMP, you can for sure ask the team to add the date to that. Once you save the questionnaire, though, you should be able to see a date. I believe Therap saved the dates of all every additional work that was done on the CARMP once it's saved. But again, you can do it however you like. All right, so I'm going to save. And a few things here on the other question. And so at this point, I'm done with this and I can close the pop-up and leave. But I want to talk a little bit about the rest of the question. So the case manager will come in here. There's a place for other clinicians. Other clinicians will be somebody like your CODA or your PTA that contribute to the CARMP for the PT and the OT. They will put their names here. The case manager is the one that's going to answer the very last question after they looked at it and review it with the individual and make sure that it's the final CARMP. They will answer this, upload the CARMP, put the date, and submit. All right, so since I'm done with my recommendations, I put my name in and I added the CARMP. I'm going to close the pop-up. You will see this message that reminds you, please don't leave before you save the questionnaire. So you can see here as the questions are answered, they will populate here. So everyone now coming in can see that me as the nurse are done with the CARMP. So this is now additional tip, but important to remember, just to make less work for yourself, because it's not going to harm anybody, but it's going to add work to you, and I'll explain. So the blue button is there just wanting you to push the submit button because it's so nice and blue and it's highlighted. Please don't submit unless you're a case manager finalizing the CARMP. Hit save. The reason for this, submit will finalize the process and you will be able to go and download the CARMP. But that's pretty much all you can do. If you accidentally hit submit because it's so pretty and blue and just screaming to push me, it's no big deal. If you realize it immediately, all you have to do is go back, start a new session, attach the CARMP, and when you send the ESCOM, letting the case manager and the next person in line know that I'm done, and oh, by the way, I started a new session because I accidentally pushed submit. So that's what I'm talking about, the additional steps that you will have to do if you push submit. If you push submit and you didn't realize it immediately, and you send that ESCOM to the case manager and the next person in line, the next person in line will come in and will now have to ask you, send an email, an ESCOM to you to say, oh, goodness, you accidentally hit submit. Could you go back and re-upload the CARMP that you were working on and start a new session? So it will delay the time. It will add extra steps if you're going to hit submit instead of save. All right, so I'm going to do save and go back to dashboard. All right, now I'm sending the SCOM and letting the case manager know PT is ready. I'm done. PT can come in and do it. So what PT will do is sign on, change provider, come into this landing page, push individual, go to the bottom of the screen. They don't have to start a new session at this point. They can just do search. And individual, they search for the individual that you guys are working on right now. The individual will come in, you choose the individual, hit search, and you can see all the CARMPs that you guys worked on before. If one is in prep, it means there's 2 lines going on. If the additional one is in prep, all of them should be submitted prior to moving forward and start a new session. Okay, so I'm going to choose the one that we're working on right now, the in prep one. I can see that the nurse is done and it was a revision for Kevin Bacon. So I can download the CARMP from here, or I can open the questionnaire and download the CARMP from here. I will download the CARMP, save it to my computer, and you can close this session and you can go back to the CARMP that you just saved to your computer, do your recommendations, and when you're ready, you will come back, do all the steps up to this point. Now, this is another tip which is very important to remember. If you come back in here to upload, you can see there's no way that you can upload this because you have to download the previous CARMP first. Now, be very careful pushing buttons while you're in here for the first time, because if you delete this, you lost the CARMP that was attached. There's no warning right now to this button that say, are you sure you want to delete this right this minute? It doesn't give you a minute to think about deleting it or not. Therap is working on fixing that for us. Not sure when the fix is going to happen. So just please pay attention to this before you download. Before you delete, make sure you downloaded it to your computer. Why is that a big deal? If you just deleted and you lost the CARMP in the process, you have to go back to the previous person in line that did it just before you and ask them to go back and upload it again, which is an extra step and could delay the completion of this CARMP. At this point, I also want to talk about, unfortunately, you guys have to establish who go first, second, last, working on this CARMP. If everyone work on the CARMP together and come in and upload the CARMP that they did their recommendations, only the last person's recommendations will end up on the CARMP. Everyone else's will be lost. By doing it sequentially, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the previous person's recommendations will stay, and the person working on it now just add to that. Don't delete anything unless it's not applicable, and you remove delete contact and add not applicable to that section. But please don't delete other recommendations. All right. So PT is ready to upload. So PT is going to delete the CARMP, add the CARMP with their recommendations. Save, and then go find the question where PT will put their names. Oops, and save. At this point, PT is done. PT can close the pop-up and save. Now, if this was the case manager done all the post-author work, review for consistencies, and consistencies mean one person say use a straw, other person say don't use a straw. Somebody say do puree, other person say do soft. Set up for 30 minutes, set up for 45 minutes. Those are inconsistencies. The case manager will look for any open spaces with the author attached, because that means the CARMP is incomplete and nobody paid attention, and say, this is actually not applicable to the individual. So the CARMP will go back to the team to fix those. The case manager will review with that person and the guardian. If they need to go through the decision consultation process, the team will be notified. Guys will have a meeting, talk about risks and benefits, and do the decision consultation form. When all is done, the case manager will come in, add the date to that CARMP, upload the dated CARMP, put in their name year. Oops. Gabby, I hope I spelled it right. Save. Answer the question about the decision consultation, yes or no? No. Save. Close the pop-up. You can see everyone that worked on the CARMP here, and that there's no decision consultation. And the case manager now will submit. And the case manager then will send the SCOM to the team saying that the CARMP is finalized. The primary provider agency nurse will download it, put it in plans, and everyone else will make sure that it was distributed wherever the person eats or drinks. Now, another way to make sure that you guys know who worked on the CARMP. This is a tip that I don't have on the tip sheet, but I'm going to show you all about this. So as everyone saves the CARMP, the initial CARMP will have a name that the initial person add to it, and it could be dated or whatnot. The next person, the RN was first, so the RN will could put RN to the name, add RN to the name, or LPN. When PT come in and finalize, they could add PT. Case manager can come in and put case manager, and then you save it to your computer. That's another way to keep track who worked on the CARMP or not. Any questions about this process? All right. So this is the tip sheet that I talked about. The case manager will use external profile to access the questionnaire. Everyone has to choose, or not everyone, but the people that have the landing page that does not have the individual on need to choose provider to find that individual button, the way that I showed you all. Download the attached CARMP and save. Everyone have to remember save. safe. The case managers have to remember safe, 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 submit. And the last one that I have right now is be careful when you delete until Therap fix that delete button for us. Make sure you download before you submit. This is just going to save everyone a little bit of time, and we all need that little bit of time. All right. So, Deb, any questions?
We have a few.
Okay.
Okay. All right, this is actually for Kathy. What about a primary residential agency giving access to the CCS-G nurse?
Well, I mean, yeah, you can do that through through your provider agency if you'd like to. I think that's what you're asking me.
Kathy, on the numbered memo, we told them to give them access because the day nurse needs to come in and participate.
Sure, yeah. But I mean, I guess am I understanding the question correctly then? I mean, you can go through the residential provider agency, yes, by all means, if that's what the question is. And that in some cases is probably the only way you can do it if your agency doesn't have, a Therap account or you're not set up that way. Did that answer your question?
Okay. Another question here. One person is saying, I'm still pretty unclear as to who the provider is for an individual.
So the primary provider agency per the standards, the hierarchy is the living supports is first. If they are in supported living, IMLS, or family living, those are the primary provider agency. If they are not in living supports, they only have CCS group. CCS group will be the provider, primary provider. If they don't have AOB, adult nursing, when no living supports group are budgeted, adult nursing becomes the primary provider. If they don't have A, B, and C, and they only have customized home supports, that will become the primary provider. And some people only have case management. Case management will be the primary provider. Most often, when they only have case management, they don't have nursing as well. Therefore, they don't have a CARMP. The CARMP is only available for people when there's nursing attached to the living arrangements. I hope that clears that up.
Okay. So another question here. Are you saying that if someone on the team hits submit, that all the work done by the other team members is lost and a new session needs to be started? Go ahead.
No. Yeah, no, it's not lost. You just have to start a new session. Everyone that did the work beforehand does not need to go in and do the same work again. The person that hit submit just need to start a new session and upload their CARMP. Or if their CARMP is already uploaded, the next person in line can download that CARMP and they can start a new session. But nobody that came before need to repeat their work because their work will already be in that CARMP that was submitted. It just make it impossible for everyone else coming behind the person that submitted to do work on that CARMP. Or to work on that session, to add things in that session.
Okay. Next question. I need a little more clarification about when to close the pop-up and when not to use it.
When not to use it, if you don't have any, if not to, if you don't have any recommendations, and what if the CARMP, your recommendations in the CARMP is current, and you don't have anything else to add, you can just let people know that you don't have anything to add. They will know to skip you, or you can come in and just add your name and let them know via ESCOM that you added your name in the line, but you don't have anything new to add, so you didn't upload a new CARMP. So the pop-up, if you go into questionnaire and you open the questionnaire, you downloaded the CARMP, you uploaded, you deleted it, you uploaded your revisions, you added your name, you saved as you go along. This is when you will close the pop-up. The pop-up actually closed the questionnaire. So you will close the questionnaire. It doesn't mean the questionnaire is saved. It's just closed. And you have to make sure that you actually save the questionnaire. If you just leave Therap at this point, everything that you added to it will be lost. I hope that answers your question.
Okay. Next question. How do we make revisions to the CARMP or to a CARMP after it has been submitted to the case manager?
If it was, once it was finalized, you guys just need to start a new strain, new questionnaire. Just the way this looks like. So it was finalized here in prep. Not sure why that wasn't finalized, but this is demo, so who knows. Finalize, and in a week the individual was admitted for aspiration pneumonia. You guys need to update something because something is not working. You'll just have to go back to the dashboard and start new. I hope that answers your question.
Okay. And let's see. Do we have a due date to transfer all of our CARPs?
Not a due date to transfer CARMPs. We have a due date to start this process. That's June 1. That doesn't mean all your CARMPs have to attach June 1, but after June 1, if you have a CARMP that needs revision, you will use this process. If you're in the midst of reviewing a CARMP and June 1 comes around, my suggestion is the people that already did their revision don't have to go back, but the person next in line can start this process because it just makes it easier. You don't have to keep emailing it. And the rest of the people that need to do the revisions on that CARMP can go in and do that.
Okay. And another question. When will we be able to access the CARMP and Therap? And actually it's there now. You just need to update the super roles to include questionnaires. Okay. And then a follow-up question is, this is due to take place in July and we're already working on the CARMPs that will take effect. Also, will we be initiating this with their new ISP, or do we need to go in and put all the CARMPs in June? And I think you kind of answered part of that there.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay. Can each author edit it before it was submitted by a case manager?
If you need to go back, and that's a great question. If you did your revision early on in the sequence that you guys decide upon, and you forgot something, yes, before it's submitted, you can definitely go back and rework the CARMP. You just need to let the team know that you need to go back in and they need to put you on the sequence somewhere in line that you can go back in. Please don't go back in and rework it and upload it, because somebody's recommendations is going to be lost. If you guys communicate, I'll stand on the mountain and scream that all day long. Just let the team know that you need to go and add something you forgot, or you need to make it more apparent, clearer, not applicable, or anything that you need to go and add. And the case manager will rearrange things for you. And everyone should talk about how that should happen. Hope that answered that question.
Okay. And let's see. Once you have submitted, if changes need to be made, you have to start a new CARMP. That's a lot of work just to make a little update. You are literally starting over, ?
You're not going to start a new CARMP. You can use the CARMP that you guys previously finalized. You just need to add the new session. So this is just replacing you sending the email to everyone and say, I updated the CARMP, check it. You will communicate with them, say, I need to update the CARMP. You will start this session. And if everyone else don't need to add anything, they're just going to review what you added, and the case manager will submit and finalize it. And then you will do the process. So it's basically what you guys are doing right now, it's going to be the same way. The only thing that's going to change is you're not going to email the CARMP to everyone, and everyone can't work on the same CARMP at the same time, and somebody compile it for you. That is too much on one person to do. Each author needs to do it in sequence, and it's up to the teams to decide that sequence. Somebody said they're going to keep the sequence that is in Therap, and you're absolutely good if you want to. This portion of Therap is yours to decide how you want to do it. I'm hoping the pilot, 99.5% of people that was on the pilots thought it made life so much easier. You guys can track and keep each other accountable, seeing who's falling behind, who needs a reminder. And you guys it doesn't have to fall on just the case manager. If OTC, the nurse is lacking behind, OT can communicate with the nurse and case manager and say, what's going on? Do you need help? I see you haven't completed the CARMP yet. Do you want somebody else to go ahead? And it's just going to make so much better teamwork and tracking of the CARMPs. So whatever system you guys are using right now, that doesn't change, except that you can't work on the CARMP independently anymore, or at the same time independently, and somebody else compiling. This process just eliminating emailing the CARMP to each other, because we heard about all your troubles with that, and the CARMP going into a black hole and nobody knows where it is, and you guys have to start over again, and so on and so on. All right.
Okay, so another question. So when the revision has been done, do we contact the case manager so they can resubmit?
The case manager and the team, because once one author work on the CARMP, the rest of the authors might have something to add, and this will be a good time to let everyone know that you are adding to the CARMP, and the rest of the team will be notified, and the case manager can coordinate efforts to do the review and add things if needed.
Okay.
And then the case manager needs to review whatever you revised with the individual and the guardian before they submit. So the case manager will always be the one to add the date and submit.
Okay. Next question, how are recommendations lost on a Word document?
If people work separately, individually, and the nurse attached, and then PT attached, and then OT attached, the nurses and OT's recommendations would be lost because it's not on the same Word document. If you guys use the same Word document and just add, most likely it will not be lost. But if you work independently and attach, the previous person's recommendations will be lost because there's 3 different documents floating around.
Okay. Next question, is there a new template that we'll be using?
No, it's the same template. And I still have the fillable Word document, and it's floating, I think, case managers and regional nurses. And some agencies have it. If you need one, you can shoot me an email and I will give it to you.
Okay. And let's see. Hang on. And that was the end of the questions.
Okay, and I don't have anything else to share. If you guys think of anything else, shoot me an email. We'll add to the tip page, answer questions, and remember, you are not alone. I'm here to help you. Kathy and Nando and your regional nurses, regional Therap leads are here to help you. So you can always reach out.
Okay.
Thank you all for coming.
One other question. What's an appropriate
Okay.
time length to give ARM members to complete their part?
You know, there's time limits within the standards. For an annual CARMP, it needs to be completed 21 days before the start of the new ISP year. And you have to train within 30 days of changes. I think that is the most common timeline right now. If you have to start a new one, we have a grid in the standards. I think it's page 48 that you can look at the timelines. So if you have a shorter time to complete it, you want to give people shorter times. If you have enough, everyone has time to do it within that period of time. I know you guys schedule the ISP meetings, the annuals, about 3 months ahead of the start of the ISP year. So you have those 2 months and a week to get it done before it needs to be completed, before the annual start. So again, it's up to you guys to make sure that it's done in a timely fashion, not to be late.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Cody, are you still on?
I am.
We have one last question here. Just came in.
Okay.
CARMP's done recently for ISPs after 6.1 be added?
No, you don't have to add it now. When you're ready to do a revision, you can add it at that time.
Okay. All right.
All right. Are we done, Deb?
We are done. I'll go ahead and close it out. And
okay.
I'll send you guys an email in a few minutes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.